and see. It says it's working.
Oh, are we live?
Mm-hmm. It's not letting me click on it.
Okay. Bunch of people are here.
All right, guys. If you can hear me. I don't know what's wrong, but we had to start a new one.
You didn't show that anything's wrong.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. This is take 2 of a previous video, literally right before this. So what happened? I don't know what happened. That was working. Where you guys are seeing me from was counting down properly, no spooling. So I don't know what happened, but none of the other devices were. Anyway, so we're back to it. I'm still cutting out my Liberty Lane quilt. And I'm going to set my pieces aside as I go in the order of which that had me do them all. So that way I can keep everything together. Okay, are now over there. All right, let's move those up and out of the way. And come back over here now and move on to D. Which one is D? Is fireworks of the light one. That would be this one. All right, D. I'm going to straighten this up, make the cut. The fabric was super crooked, so I'm just going to cut it super crooked because it doesn't seem like I need to use it as a strip set of any kind.
Whoa, did you throw that on the floor?
It got knocked over. All right, so I'm going to cut the size I need. Set this aside. Grab this ruler for the subcutting. And then need.
Have you ever decided that a quilt you started you really never wanted to finish?
I have not actually decided a quilt I started that I never want to finish. I usually finish them all eventually. Unless I finish it all in one video. All right, so I'm going to trim this. Salvage off, and then I'm going to cut the size it says. Need 6 of them. I have to keep looking back or else I mess it up because patterns and me usually don't get along. I love to just make things up. That's more my forte, but I got all these kits. I might as well use them. Okay. There's 6 of these pieces. Set those aside. All right, now we're moving on to E and F. E and F. There's E. And there's F. So those 2 bottom ones. Set that aside. Put that there. Stack them up nicely. Or as best as possible. Am I cutting the same exact stuff from each? Okay. Same exact stuff on both of them. I'm going to leave that out so that I can see what the letters are. Am I doing both? Yep, I am. There's that. I get the same number from both. Nothing moved. I need 2 strips at my wonderful number. 2. Is that it? Okay, I don't need this. And then we're going to subcut all this. I'm going to stack these together and then the other ones together, making it easier to keep those two colors separate. They need to be look one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. It only wants me to cut 8. Wow. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess they gave a generous amount of fabric for this pattern. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over there. All right, G, M, P, and Q all get the same. Let's put these in order. G. They're all going to get cut exactly the same. M. Making sure I'm lining them up so that I can cut them all exactly the same at the same exact time. P and Q. So far, this pattern seems very easy to follow. I definitely don't like a pattern that's, hard to follow or read. G, M, P, and Q all lined up. Slide those out of the way. Mark that I'm on it. Yep, this is take 2. Okay, I'm going to cut all this off at one time. So I have 8 layers stacked here. Oh, just delete it because it's just a highlight. I was hitting buttons to see what they were.
That's it unlisted.
Oh yeah, just turn it off completely.
It's 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you. Weird stuff YouTube does.
Yep. No, there's highlights. You can do highlights of things. Most people turn those into shorts. All right, turn it around, cut the number. We'll need to check one more time. One of those strips. Okay.
Do you use a GoPro camera?
I have a GoPro. It was supposed to be to use on the long arm, but I don't have a mount for it. For the long arm, I need a specific kind of mount to use it on the long arm, which I don't have. All right, set this aside. I'm just going to go like this because I think this will be keeping them all separate. Trying to keep everything nicely separate. Crossing the line, and crossing the line. Perfect. We're cutting how many? 8. Two. 3, 4. 7, 8. Okay. This was G, and this was M, and this was P, and that was Q. All right, next, fabric H. There's H, H. H. H is the stars that are dark. Oh, it's way over there. Okay. H is this one. Seven strips. All right, everything's nice and flat. Cut 7. Oops, right here in front of my face. All right, 7, how many number? Two. 3, 4. 5, 6. 'Can't even see that right there. 7. All right, 7 strips. All right, then I need to cut from it. Also, slide this over now. These ones are all going to get sewn together, so I'm just going to put all these together for a moment out of the way while I cut the other. But not have a pencil underneath it. Definitely don't want to do that. So I need 2 strips that are this size now. Two. Okay, hold on. I gotta subcut these before I move on to the next because there's more. My goodness, this one's gonna confuse me. How many do I need of this? We gotta find this again. Salvage off. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, that did not cut straight. Do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really? That's all I wanted off of 2 strips? Well, I could have done that with 1. There's that. And then I'm cutting more from here. I need 2 3/4. Okay, 2 3/4 it is. 2 quarters is there, and 3/4 is there. How many do I need again? 1 strip. I don't get this one. 2 total. There's no way that equals that. So I would need to cut 2 strips. Okay, let's get that next one. Real quick. There we go. Because there's no way to get that number from 1 strip. So whatever it's saying wrong. So I guess I found my first mess up. All right, and then 2 strips that are. Make sure, one more time. Yep.
Advice for using a rotary cutter? I go off to the right.
Any advice for using a rotary cutter? I go off to the right.
Yeah,
So you're saying when you're cutting, you're kind of veering away from the ruler. Tip for that, and I gave this tip many, 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 many years ago when I first started YouTube, and a lot of people said, oh, don't do that. But if you're using, can I have a regular rotary cutter back there, please, so that I can show this? There's 2 different kind of ways. So I'm hoping you can see here. If you're just using a regular rotary cutter, right, you have your regular one, you're holding your ruler. Now, most people's hands are directly on the ruler, so they're like this. They don't have that big handle. When you're holding it, first off, make sure that your hand has a finger on the table to hold it straight and that you're equally applying pressure. But instead of going straight on, which kind of causes you to veer, tilt your wrist kind of to the side like this so that it stays along the rotary cutter, along the ruler the whole entire time. So you're just slightly tilted to the right. And if you're left-handed, you would slightly tilt it to the left instead of going straight up and down. Straight up and down, you got to angle your wrist just right. That's why I don't like these anymore, and I 100% use only, unless I'm cutting heavy yardage. Then I always use this, because this one, if you just, even it's straight, you can do it, but you can veer off. You just slightly tilt it. If you guys ever noticed, my hand is slightly tilted so that it stays along the ruler every single time. I can do this without even looking, see? And I'm against that ruler every single time because I'm slightly tilted. If you keep going straight up, you're going to veer away because your hand wants to do that. It's a natural thing. See, I'm away from the ruler completely. So just slightly tilt your hand. With this one, the Martelli cutter, it's not as bad. With the regular ones, though, you can see the tilt, keeping it next to the ruler. I know some people said it's bad because my blade can jump onto the ruler, but if you are doing it just right, and you have it just right in your hand, you're not going to knock that, onto the ruler. I'm not going to cut myself. So just slightly tilt your hand, holding the ruler against there. See? Just slightly. If you go straight up and down, you have more chances of veering off. All right, you can take that now. Just so you guys know, just a little tip for that rotary cutting. Oh, the kitty cat already stole Scott's seat. All right, so these are going to get sewn together. I don't know what I'm doing with these 2. It doesn't even say, but I'll just set them over there. And then these 2 are obviously cut to a certain number. So I'm going to set these right here. Those right here. And these need to get cut to a certain number by opening them up. Because there was no way to get that from 1 cut. So that was their first mess up on this pattern. There's no way to get that number they wanted from 1. Come on, right there. There we go. So I have them fully lined up. I'm going to cut off at the selvage. Line this up on a line. On a line. Yeah, if you guys ever notice, I cut a lot, so you should definitely see the tilt when I'm cutting. It's constant. And when I'm on the opposite side, so sometimes I hold the ruler and cut on the opposite side, I'm tilting it that side to the side that I'm on. So I'm always tilting it to the ruler. And then I got to go to, let me make sure one more time. Right on that line right there. Okay. So 2 pieces that length. I'm going to place over there. Right now I'm just filling the ironing board up with all this. Now we're on I and J. I and J. So here's J. That's not. Which one was I again? That one right there. That was on the bottom. I see it. I'm sensing a theme here. They were cutting the same similar fabrics together. That one was really screwed up. Okay. So I and J get 1 strip that's that size. Lining the ruler up. I'm not getting a straight across the top there because I'm not even doing the whole piece anyway. It's only having me cut a few pieces off of each one. So 1 strip that is that size and subcut. That. I did not get the whole selvage. Come over just a little bit. Yeah, this ruler thing, I mean, rotary cutting, when I first started quilting, I constantly had issues. And so once I started tilting my hand, I never had a problem again. I'm not jumping ruler and going sideways. And I cut a lot. Now that I use the Martelli, yes, it's easier. I'm so used to this thing, I don't even have to hold it properly. I'm so used to I can hold it in my hand while I go. I don't have to have my finger across the top. I can just cut without it. I can cut it with it on the side. I just have a bad habit of not closing the blade. So I end up dropping it like this, and that's how I cut my fingers and my wrist, and I've hit my palm of my hand a few times by reaching over and my blade be upside down. Bad habits, bad habits. Okay, now these pieces go here, here. All right, those are cut. Now L. Oh, that's binding. We don't need to cut L because L is binding. Aha, okay. So I'm going to set this aside because we don't need this right now. This is binding. I'm not even anywhere close to that. I'm still on the cutting part. All right, so that's going to go over there. And there's this one. I'm going to cut O real quick because it's the same as all the other ones. And then cut N. It just has you doing them in alphabetical. That's all. Strip this size. Over there. Subcut it. How many do I need? 4. Oh, 2. Just 2? Really? Are you kidding me? Okay. That's a lot of, like, I didn't even need this much fabric for this pattern at all. I can make something totally different with the leftovers. Just 1 cut, huh? Okay. Okay, I'm listening to you, pattern. Set that aside. Now N is all right, so I'm going to cut 5 total strips. Let me make sure one more time. Okay, 5 total strips of N. And I'm going to make sure this one's straight because this one is for bordering something. So I'm going to make sure that it's nice and straight. Huh? Yeah, there's plenty too, for sure. And I need, which number again? The half side. And I need how many again total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh?
Laura gave you $10.
Oh, thank you, Laura. That was very sweet of you.
It was a pleasure to meet you at Quilting. Oh. Opportunity to chat for a while. My husband and I agree. You are beautiful inside and out.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. He read it all to me. I didn't want to repeat. That was a lot to repeat. 5 strips. You guys notice that my wrist does that? Just thought I'd tell you. It's, I get a lot more. Oops. I saw that one happening. It's the ruler that slipped this time. No. Oh well. Anyway, there we go. Shouldn't change it. All right. And that was all I needed from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. And then I got to sew those together. All right. Sew together. 3 of those and then sew together 2 of these. Okay. And now I think it's time to sew because the rest was borders and binding. Yep. Because I know binding is binding and then that big border will do last. So now it's time to piece. Refer to quote layout page 3. So I don't care about that. So now I'm going to strip those. Okay, so I'm just going to skip to the layout page, honestly. Keeping this chart in front of me of the letters. And I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to bring all this over here. Next to me now. That way I can just grab and sew. And then these all get sewn together. These are the size they need to be. And these, I don't even know what to do with those. And these get sewn together. All right. We haven't had no spooling since, right? All right, what I'm going to do is sew all these together. I'm going to cut the selvages off all at the same time and then do my normal sewing and then cut it to the size it says to cut it. Why? Because I'm following someone else's pattern and I can't just sew my borders on the way I want to, which is the way I normally would do it. You know, but sometimes I gotta follow directions.
You have to follow the directions.
You know? I've never been much of a direction follower. I guess we can ask my mom how much I got in trouble when I was a kid because I didn't follow directions. Well, I don't really get myself into too much trouble not following directions, quilting anything other than making quilts out of someone else's pattern. That was a lot to cut through, but it cut through it. All right, these all get sewn together. And make sure one more time because these were fabric H. Where was the H? Okay. That's probably the internet, yeah. Oh, let's make sure I have a 1/4 inch seam too, because that would be a really smart thing to make sure of. I was binding yesterday, so obviously I don't have a 1/4 inch seam on here because you don't need a 1/4 inch seam for binding. All right, bottom one out of the way. Next two are right sides together. Oh, wait, I also have a binding stitch on there. Uh-oh, what's wrong? What's wrong with my machine? Okay. Yeah, no, I don't need water. What is up under there? Oh, it's a mess, but I'm not going to clean it. I got the chunk out right there. Let's try that again. Man, it really made a big knot right here. The previous color was stuck down in there, and it seems the thread cutter must have gotten rid of it in between then and now. So it got stuck. Whew. It happens. Next to I feel like I'm lower, but I feel like I'm higher at the same time. This new butt pillow is going to save on my booty before I get to the spinal doctor, because I have to wait so long to go, you know. But hey, I guess I'll live with it and buy all sorts of things to make it easier to sit in chairs. I do highly recommend this though, because my tailbone is not touching nothing. One of these pillows, if you have issues sitting for long periods, I gotta show this thing. This is missing out of here. You would think it's a hemorrhoid pillow, but it's not. It doesn't even touch that. It's just the tailbone. That's your front of your legs sit here and your tailbone sits here. If you're sitting for long periods, that can also cause tailbone pain. So make sure to get a pillow like this, because this is like gonna save me. And then we also, because I got it all at the thrift store, I got this too, which, I got it at the thrift store, so it's got threads hanging from it, but it's a little low back thing because my low back and tailbone is all messed up. So the combination is helping my booty sit properly until I'm fixed.
It's your tailbone.
Yeah.
Say your tailbone.
My tailbone and lower back, though. It's the whole thing. It also kind of feels weird because my hips feel like they're being pushed up more, but hey. All right, so those are sewn together and they need to be cut to a certain size, which I cannot do at this moment because I don't have a thing to measure that size from. So that's just going to get set right there. Then these ones all get sewn together as well. And I can't even do that off of this mat. I'm just going to sew these on as it's set, because I don't like following directions. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out to the size. I have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It should always come out to the size it's supposed to be.
Well, since you can't share measurements with anybody, you might as well just do your
Yeah,
own.
since I can't share the measurements with you guys, I might as well. Scott just said I might as well just do my own thing the way I do things. I'm still following the directions, sort of, but my 1/4 inch seam allowance should be accurate enough to everything match the right size, right? And if not, we'll just work it in, because that's how things go. If I was following this for the specific pattern designer making a specialty video, I would probably do it the correct way. I don't like a correct way. The correct way, just not my thing. All right, let's sew all these together. It's a lot of layers to cut through, but I did it. We're just gonna make big old messes here. I think these are the only ones because the rest is all those other pieces. So those, I don't know what those other pieces are for though, that I cut from the other fabric. Maybe it's like a top and bottom thing. I don't know. What did I just do? Oh, I did. Okay. Brain. The brain. that I sewed with this chair yesterday with this on here. I also have one at my kitchen table because that chair was bothering me too. So now I have one. It's a totally different cushion, but pretty much similar. It's pretty much the same thing. But that one's more gel, but that one and this chair don't fit properly. So this one had to go in this chair.
What seam allowance do you use when putting binding?
When I put binding on, I use a 1/4-inch seam allowance. All right, those are all together and they'll get put on. So let's figure out this now. Open it to the chart. H. Which one was H again? H. H was the stars. That's this one. Aha. So this is going to go around the thing first. Right? That's why it had me cut it a certain size that I can't cut right now. That's not what's around it. Those are the 1.5 ones. That's for the final border. Ah. 2 3/4 ones, 2-inch strips. Hold on. Arrange that. Stitch the center panel A. Trim the end. Stitch the H fabric, the 2-inch wide strips to the sides. Okay, that's this one right here. Aha! I've figured it out. One of these goes on this side and one goes on the other side. Okay, we're going to start building this thing now. Just going to line it up beyond the selvage and stitch with a 1/4-inch seam. All right. I'm going to do it my way. I'm not stretching, pulling, or tugging anything, so. All right, there's one. Make sure. Okay, this is 2. What I'm just gonna do is fold it, cut it to size. I can just use the rotary cutter too at the same exact thing. Right here. Line it up, square it up. Okay. Put that there. Get rid of selvage on here. Line, put it on line. Look at that, nice and straight. That's garbage. That's straight. And last one, because I already cut the other one with the scissors. Now the other pieces should go on top and bottom. Which are these? And these are cut exactly to size. So I'm literally going to finger press, and if it lands exactly to size, then I know I did something right. I'm literally going to push that back with my finger and push this back with my finger. let's see if it's the exact size that needs to be. Line it up right there on that end, and line it up right here on this end. And look, it's even bigger than it's supposed to be. All right, probably won't be once I sew it, but my panel probably wasn't even perfect. I cut it the size it said. They should have put the words "ish." That's what they did when you cut it.
Ish.
Well, it says fussy cut 1/4 beyond the outside edges of the panel, approximately, and then it says blah, blah, blah. It says approximately. So there's no guarantee that it was going to be exact. So I think I'm doing pretty good if there's no guarantee it was supposed to be an exact number.
Well, here's one. Which magnetic seam guide do you like best? The rectangular one or the smaller square one?
Okay, well, the big rectangular one I don't like when I'm putting binding on because I can't tilt the binding to the side and sew off the edge. The little one is better for that. But the big one is definitely good for everything else because it actually keeps me aligned a lot sooner than the smaller one does. And I am all about the use of the seam guide. He can't show you the big one because I'm using it, but he did show you the small one. I like the small one, especially when doing binding and other things. Like my tiny piecing, I definitely don't need the big, huge seam guide for tiny piecing. I don't need any seam guide for tiny piecing, but I use it anyway. Because again, I'm not a good sewer when it comes to straight lines. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess of this off. So it's bigger by an inch, because that's definitely 1 inch. And then I'm going to press it. So I need the iron back on, please. Little scraps I'm just going to throw out of the way over there. And then this part needs to get pressed. So I'll do that in a minute. Now let's follow this layout for all these pieces. Because that's on there first. And that's on there second. So here we go. Let's see. We need G, which is this one right here. And J is this one right here. G again, which is this one right here. Then K, which is this one right here. Then F. F, F, F. Where's F? Which one is F? Oh.
Where did F go?
That's this one, right? Yeah. Okay. Then Q. Q. Which one was Q? Q is the blue stars. That's this one. Then H again, which is this one. Then Q again, which is this one. Then F again. F. That one's this one. K again. Where's K? Which one is K? I don't like this whole lettering thing. Why can't I just sew them?
You want me to come over there and look at
K is this one, and I need a small one. Okay. And then G is the star one. Oh, I need one. And then J is this Liberty and for all one. And then G is the last for this file, which is this one again. Okay, I'm going to sew these in order now. There's just one right after the other, so I'm just going to, yeah.
All the fans are great too. Just sew it
So
however you feel comfortable.
All that messing around right here, I knocked the thread out. Whew. Yeah, I'm just going to sew these together. Thank you guys. It doesn't matter as long as there's an equal amount on them, you know? It doesn't, they all hook together, however, so I'm just going to sew. I'm going to totally knock all this out of order. As long as there's a certain amount on each side that make them the same length, you know? Big, small, big, small. Only on camera. I filmed Open Gate yesterday, just so that you guys know, and obviously it's going to come out hopefully tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, Tuesday. And I had a bunch of thread coming out because I was filming it, and obviously it only happens when the camera's on, because when I'm sewing on my own, I could sew for hours and not have the thread come out. It's the weirdest thing. It just doesn't want to be on camera. So these are going to be exactly the same length too. So technically I just need to grab I want one of these reds instead. I feel like it doesn't have anything this color right here. And if it's all random and two are the same next to each other, oh well, because guess what? I don't care. All right. Is the iron on so that I can get that straight real quick?
Yes, it's one.
This is binding, so we're just going to move that out of the way. No, that's the border.
Oh, okay.
That's for the whatchamacallit border.
Yep, I see it now. Sorry.
There's a word for it. It's not coming to my brain right away. Mitered border. All right, I'm just pressing these borders on so I can put this back up on the wall. That way I can start building all the pieces around it. I'm kind of glad I'm finally getting some of these kits done because, you know, I have a lot of them and I never knew what to do with kits besides trying to find it for you guys to do it too, you know? But this time I wasn't able to find it, so if I don't do it exactly as the kit, then it makes more sense, right? All right, I'm just gonna have to take those off because my eyes are bugging. So I have a big one, then a small one, and another small. See, I'm not reading the letters. I just need to know big or small. Big, 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 big. Oh, that's small, whatever. I want the big one. Oh, I can't have two of those, duh. This one, small, this one, small, this one, and big, this one. All right, here's a pile. Oh, I gotta do that again for the other side. So let's do a small, big, small, small, big, small, big, small, big, small, small, big, and small. All right, there's another pile. Let's do that again. Big, small, small. Big, 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 oh my God, come on. Small, 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 and then big. One more big. Oops. I see why they want you to go in order, because there's a specific amount of lights as opposed to darks, and they want the lights in a certain spot on the pattern. Where's the picture? So they have it where the whites are right here and then right here, like centered, but mine are just going to be random now. They are. Obviously. Oops. I'm on this side. What was I on? Okay, that's the 3 piles, and then I'll do the tops and bottoms. That way it sort of makes sense if you do it the right way. But I'm just doing my thing. Screw it. Even when I cut the thread, it just comes out. And I can't see for the life of me right now. I have severely blurry vision right now.
640 you and stuff this week.
Well, no, I'm going to get these sewn at least. Oh, yeah, no, it's actually my eyeballs feel like they did the day that my eyes were messed up. I'm having light issues and everything. I've had it earlier too. Thought it'd be easier to wear my glasses, but they actually aren't helping. All right, let me press this and this. you guys get a general idea of where I'm at here. Just pressing them all one direction. It really doesn't matter, I don't think. As long as it's flat. Okay, so that's not the size it's supposed to be. Again, I will just cut it. Why? Because I can.
So now what do you do?
Oh, I can just cut it, honestly. No big deal. Okay. 2 more. It's because this didn't end up 27. That didn't end up 27 inches, but this didn't need to be 2 3/4. I don't think. This, I think, only needed to be 2 1/2 because it's, if that's lined up here, it's only bigger by 1/2 inch. So. It don't matter. I will make it all work because that's what I do. And technically, all I'm doing is building borders around it. So nothing really has to match up because you're just making borders. And I'm sewing them with the right amount of pieces. So it couldn't have been that. It's definitely the fact that the top and bottom were too big. But it said that one was supposed to be top and bottom on H. It doesn't help either. I am using Orifil thread, and this machine really does not like Orifil thread. Whether it's the big spool or the little spool. Let's do this whole long tail thing, even though that doesn't help either. It still comes unthreaded. It does have a fresh needle in it too, so it's definitely not that. Okay, there's one. Here's another. And I am just going to chain piece. Why? Because I can do it whatever way I want. As long as they're all hooked together. Right? Right. Oh, come on. The cat left the room. He was licking himself, and Daddy kept saying, stop. And what does he do? Instead of stopping, he leaves the room to meow. He's like, pay attention to me, people. You humans. Making a disaster here. Yeah, I know. Oh, it is on both sides. So yeah, it doesn't really matter which way I put it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna press these and then put them up on the wall. Sorry that today has 2 videos.
Yeah.
So if you're watching part, if you're watching part whatever, right now, part 2, and you just came in because you saw that this was my live, don't forget there's a part 1. That's gonna be really weird because I haven't had to have 2 parts of a video in a while, other than next week is going to be part 3. Technically, it's part 2, but this is part 1, take 2. That's probably what I'll write in the title, but I'll link them all together in the description because that's what I try to do when this happens. Darn internet, Let me change that. See, when you get 2 next to each other, you can just flip it, I guess. Oh, look at this, 2 exactly next to each other. Let's just move this one to the side and this one to the side and see what happens. Oh, that's the same up there. Is this one the same? Anything next to each other? Yes, it is. Anything next to each other that way? Yes, there is. I guess I shouldn't worry. Those are the same. I chose to do it this way. This is why they have instructions, Okay, those 2 match, but whatever. I'm just going to leave it. And those 2 are close. Those 2 match, so let's flip it this way. Those 2 are kind of touching each other, but not enough. Whatever. We'll just put it that way. So now I just need to build this for the top and for the bottom with the rest of these pieces. So however the chart says to do that. But I'm going to get off at my regular time. So if you guys have any questions or anything, I'm just going to make 4 piles real quick of pieces.
Part 1.5.
Part 1.5, exactly. All right, let's see what we got going on here. It has big. It goes big, small, small, big, small, small, big, big. All right. And then the bottom is going to go small, big, big, small, big, small, So those are the. All right. Let's do. Oh, come on. Small. Any questions or anything while I'm doing this? Big. If you guys have any questions, ask now or forever hold your peace till next week. Let's put this one here. One of these. One of these. One of these. And one of these. And then the next one, I don't look like I have enough pieces, but we're going to see right now. It was big. Big. Small. Small. Big. Small. Small. Big. And big. Okay. So there's all the piles. I just need to sew these together, but I'm going to do that next week because I am done. My eyes are super duper blurry and the lights are killing them. So my butt's fine though because I'm sitting in this specialty cushion. Well, I really highly suggest one of these. This is amazing. This is helping. I've been standing for weeks and weeks in videos trying to avoid just sitting on my butt. You guys know how it is. I can't see that very well. So let's, I guess, put the glasses on so I could at least read if there's anything. All right, guys. Well, I'll just go through reminders again. This is my apron. I tend to not wear it, even though it's right here. And I just came out, what, 2 days ago? Yeah, I was filming something. I was doing something, and I came out, and I was coated in thread. And I told Scott, I should probably wear my apron more often. He goes, it's literally hanging right there. I don't know how you can't see it. Yeah. So
I didn't say it all grumpy.
I know he didn't say it grumpy, but in my brain, that's how I saw it. So yeah, there's that. That's the apron. But anyways, open gate. I got to edit, and I'm not going to do that tonight because my eyes are not not going to sit on a computer. So so either tomorrow or Tuesday will be my open gate box. It's going to be awesome. It's something everybody's been asking for. So just, yeah, you'll see. Anyways, and then next Thursday, not this Thursday coming up, but the following, we will finish our flower pot blocks. I got all mine done. I just need to put it all together and we got to figure out, what we're going to do with the layout and how far apart pieces need to be. And then sometime, if more mail comes, sometime this week, there'll be a mail opening. If not, then it'll be a small mail opening, right? Oh, okay. And then that's it. That's all that's new and coming up. I don't have anything else because, yeah. And if you haven't already, go watch the video of Exploded. That quilt is amazing.
Well, if they haven't watched part one of this, they can go back and watch part one.
Yeah, and if you haven't watched part one of this video itself, go watch part one. It's just me ironing, but still, it's part of what I'm doing here. It's the start to finish of everything. And then tomorrow starts the Sewing Machines Plus quilt show. So don't forget to go on there and vote for your favorite quilts and have fun. You can watch their live streams here on YouTube. I think they do it on Facebook too, but it's easier to watch on YouTube. And they do giveaways the whole entire time. There's just giveaways like crazy. So you got to tune in. I know it's 8 hours long of a video or like 7 hours worth of video, but if you tune in here and there throughout the day and your name is entered because you're in the chat, you never know, you might win something, but you got to be there to win. So don't forget to enter all that stuff. And then they have a grand prize of a dream studio. So if you sign up with your email to their thing, you take the chance of winning a grand prize studio, which consists of several different machines, some tables, some chairs, a printery thing, all sorts of stuff. Like it's a dream studio worth of stuff. So much stuff it would never fit into this room on its own. So just saying. Anyways. All right, guys, I'm gone. See you in my next video. Bye. 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 Oh, the husband's got to get up and press the button.
Of course
I'll
I
just
do.
make silly faces.
Of course I do. How else is it gonna get turned off?